So, welcome to another episode of the Women Petpreneurs podcast with your host, Mary Oquendo. So, my guest today is Kierstin Paroli, correct?
Yep, that is correct.
So, thank you for taking time out of your day to be here.
Oh, no
So,
problem.
I always like to start off. So, I'm not going to be a little vague about why I'm having you on here for just a moment. So, but first, I want to ask you, how'd you get involved in the pet industry?
So actually, I started out as a cosmetologist. I loved doing hair. I loved doing all that kind of stuff. But I personally don't like people, if that makes any sense. I just didn't like how some people can be pretty cruel. And I'm a very sensitive person at times. So that was kind of hard for me. I actually saw a posting on I think it was Indeed, to the current place that I work at, for a dog bather. And I always had interest in dogs, and I had my own, and I had a couple farm animals. So I was always into animals. And I always kind of wanted to be a dog groomer, but I never knew how to get about it and what I needed and all that kind of stuff. So when I saw that, I obviously put in for it, went for an interview. I was, shaving horses down and stuff like that prior to this. And they hired me a couple weeks later, and I started as a bather, and I was actually helping another groomer who was pregnant at the time. So I was getting very involved as it went through. And then she went on maternity leave, and they asked me if I wanted to become a full-time groomer. I was already doing basically everything else. And I had other people that I worked with that would help me also. So I just kind of swept into it, and here we are today, and I'm a dog groomer.
Yeah, I mean, a very similar situation to mine. I was just pissed off though at my personal family members, and there was a help wanted sign at Petco for a bather, and I was like, yeah, filled out the application, started the next day. So
Yeah. I mean, I had no idea about it. I didn't even know how to get started in it, and it just kind of fell into place. And and I'm at the same place that I've been since then. So
yeah, I was, surprised that there was like this was a profession. I was like
right.
a real profession. I mean,
Yeah.
I always have short-coated dogs my entire life, whose bath consisted of either tossing into the tub or hosing down outside.
Yep, same here. I had American Bulldogs growing up, so I never really had anything fluffy to groom. I just thought no idea.
Yeah. I don't know if I thought it was like magic or something, that dog just poof, they look good. I don't know until I actually walked into there. And I always knew the grooming shop was there, but I never paid it any mind until I was annoyed. And then the help wanted sign was there.
Yep.
And then that sign was like neon flashing.
Yep.
Look at me. Okay. So, but I find a lot of people, in this industry, there's so many ways people come into the industry.
Oh, there really is.
Some people are like literally born into it. Their mom gives birth in between pets, and they're like, here, kid, hold the scissors for me. I got to finish up this dog. To, just kind of falling into it various different ways. So, but the reason I asked you here today is that what I really love about this industry, it is, first of all, it's a very open industry. And so you're a handicap groomer.
Yep. So actually, I'm an amputee. I only have one hand.
Okay. So first of all, how did that happen?
Well, so I was a groomer prior to the accident. So I had two hands, my whole, the start of my career. And then in 2020, actually, so September, we have a groom expo that comes down to Hershey, Pennsylvania. So me and a coworker actually were going to go to that. But due to COVID, they canceled it. So we had a Saturday opened. I personally go ATVing quite a bit. We would go almost every weekend. It wasn't a new thing that we did. So that weekend I said, hey, let's go four-wheeling with my family. Same spot that we normally go to, same normal day. We were riding around. My mom has a side-by-side, and we were driving around, having a good time. I was driving before the accident, and we were playing in the mud, doing that kind of stuff. So my mom got out of the ATV because she didn't want to play in the mud. So she got out. Obviously, the passenger side was all muddy and gross. My mom was like, oh, you're not driving, or I'm going to drive because I don't want to sit in the mud. I was like, okay, fine. So I got out, got in the passenger side. My mom got in, and she literally just drove off to go turn around. She hit a ditch. The ATV slowly fell over. I had time to react, and I went to go obviously try to catch myself, and the door hit my arm. So we were only going like 5-10 miles an hour. We really weren't going too fast. We had all the, the safety gear, the head, the helmets, we were buckled in, the whole 9 yards. And it just slowly fell, and I put my hand out, and there was enough, force that it slid, and, obviously it was crushing my hand. So the door pretty much demangled my hand and the forearm. So then they rushed. Sorry, puppy, chewing on stuff. So they got my mom unbuckled. She got out because it was on its side. And then they got me out. My fiance and my dad lifted the ATV enough where I could slide out. Obviously got out pretty mangled up. I never passed out. I never had anything, I was awake the whole time. I mean, obviously I was hyperventilating a little bit, but I never passed out. The people came to evaluate me. We were up in a big mountain area, so the ambulance could not get to me. So they strapped me in the back of a truck, and they took me down the hill, met the ambulance. They put me in there. We rushed to Penn State. So we were at Snowshoe. It's close to Penn State. So they took us to Penn State, which then Hershey, Pennsylvania decided that they were going to life flight a helicopter to me and then pick me up and take me back. They thought they could save it, but they weren't 100% sure, and they didn't want infection to lose any more than what I have. So I only have about maybe 3 inches from my elbow. Which is just enough to move around and do stuff with. So they really didn't want me to lose any more than what I already did. So they opted to just take it. My first 2 things out of my mouth were, I thought my fiance was going to leave me, and I was never going to groom again. So it took a while. And I actually, I have a service dog that I self-trained. She was 7 months old when the accident happened. I never intended her to be a service dog. She was just a pet at that time. And she showed signs of she would just pick stuff up for me. Like, she was very in tune with what I needed. And so I opted to, that was kind of the goal. I started training her. I started working with her a lot. So now she is my full-time service dog. And then, so that was in 2020, and about, probably 7-8 months ago is actually when I just started going back to grooming. I grew my own dogs in that meantime, and I have Aussies, so they're really not a full groom. So then I'm at the same spot that I was at before. He promised me that I would always have a job whenever I decided I wanted to go back. And shortly, 2 years later, I started wanting to go back. My grandma actually bought a Cavapoo so I could essentially start training myself to go back. I was right-handed when it came to scissoring and all that stuff. So I did have to learn scissoring on my left hand. So that was quite a challenge. But yeah, so that's what happened.
Okay. So, wow.
Yes.
So, okay. I want to just go off a little tangent here real quick. So you have
You're
a
good.
service dog. So this is like I have a lot of soapboxes. I mean, they're like all here and I just pick which one I want.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm picking up the soapbox. There's people who need service dogs. All right. And for people who go around saying their dog is a service dog and it's not a service dog, you know what? We can tell it is not a service
Oh,
dog.
yes.
There is
I'm
no doubt about it. Your dog is not a service dog. Okay. And it's not fair. It's not fair to the people who need a service dog in order to live day to day.
yes.
All right. Another fellow groomer, Mindy Dinwiddie, is missing a leg. So Luke, who you'll see at all the trade shows, is her mobility dog. And you know what? She needs that dog.
I actually think I met her. I'm pretty sure I met her at the Groom Expo in Hershey.
Probably you did. She's there. Right. But Luke is, in addition to being like demo dog extraordinaire,
Oh, yes.
he's a service dog. And and it's really annoying to go into like a restaurant and they're trying to deny her dog because the restaurants have had bad experiences.
Yep. With non-service dogs that are protecting. It took me 2 years to get her to where she is now. I mean, and I was not working, and that was from 24/7. That was me literally going out almost every day with her, working with her, getting her to where she is today. I mean, and I've had people deny me access. Actually, Walmart did. And they were like, why do you even need it? And they didn't even know I was an amputee because I present myself as I don't. And I don't wear a prosthetic except for grooming. But I usually walk around like this. And they didn't even know I was an amputee, and they were fighting with me on why I needed her. And I was like, I pulled my sleeve up and I was like, I'm an amputee. She helps me pick things up. And like, if my hands are full, she'll open doors. She does so much for me. And it just blows my mind. But it's because they get those fake service dogs or the fake animals where they bring snakes in and God knows what else. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're doing it, please stop doing it. Okay. You're making life really difficult for people who need, I love my dogs. Pooh Bear, for those who know, lives in my sweatshirt. He would really like to come with me to trade shows and on planes and wherever it is I go. But he's not a service dog. And you know what? He's really not good with other people. I would be called out in an instant. He's gonna lift his leg wherever he feels like it because he's a male. He's gonna growl at anyone that comes near me. Yeah, no, he's not a service dog. Okay. So we all love our dogs. We all want to be around our dogs, but a service dog is a working dog, and they need to be, the people who need their service dogs need their service dogs. So anyway, okay.
Sorry for your rant.
No, so we put that soapbox away. We're here. Okay, so anyway, back on topic. So you do have a prosthetic. How do you use that for grooming?
So it is I'm sorry, I should have brought it in. I didn't.
No, that's fine.
But so it is just a typical, it just goes onto my arm. And I actually have it kind of reminds me of a Lego hand, but then it has a ratchet on the end of it. So I can slip my clippers into it and tighten it, and it goes 360. It bends. It has a special wrist to it. And I'm able to lift a dog's leg and get the sanitary with it. I use it a lot for the feet also, places that you would really, really, truly need two hands. That's when it really comes in handy. Faces, I can hold the face with my good arm and then scoop out the eyes, or sometimes a lot of dogs don't like their faces done in general. So then I would put whatever clipper, whatever size I needed, and I would do the whole face. It works tremendously. I'm still kind of learning on what how and what I can use it with. But so far it's been a really lifesaver. I mean, I can do some dogs purely one-handed, and people are amazed that I can do that. Like I'll put the dog's face right here, and a lot of them I don't get a lot of trouble dogs. I'm pretty sure it's obviously because I'm an amputee that the place of work that I work at kind of filters out the troubling dogs. I do some, not many, but I do some. So I get a lot of more calmer dogs and puppies that are learning. So then they can learn to adapt to what I need. But it's been pretty good. I'm honestly shocked I'm doing it, because I never thought a day in my life that I would be grooming again. I mean, that was, like I said, that was the biggest thing when I lost my hand. Because I love this job. This was my dream job. This is, obviously I fell into it, but when I discovered grooming, that was it. That's what I wanted to do the rest of my life. And it really devastated me when I lost my hand, and I didn't know if I was going to ever be able to go back to that.
Okay. So I want to do a quick shout out to your boss.
So Jordan Fritz from Brook Park Pet Supply in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. He is an amazing man. He really is. He bought it's called Brook Park Pet Supply. He bought it. It was, I think, 2019. He might yell at me for that. I'm not sure exactly when he bought it, but he bought it shortly after, or shortly before my accident. And he has been a saint ever since. I actually am going for a third surgery on Tuesday, the 28th. I have a lot of nerve damage into my nub that they want to refix. It's just a lot of pain. Basically, it feels like I stubbed my toe. If that makes any sense, that's just how it feels 24/7. So when I'm blow drying dogs, and if I hit my nub with the air, it hurts so bad. But I was used to the pain. So then I was starting to go black and blue with the prosthetic also. So because the prosthetic would end here, I was bending my arm to obviously groom. And so the whole end of my nub was turning black and blue, and obviously scared me a little bit, and scared some of my, other groomers. It didn't hurt, but it was alarming. So I went for a second opinion, and then they said, oh, we can fix your nerve damage. And so I will be off for 6 weeks, and hopefully it'll benefit better. And then I'll be getting a new prosthetic. We're going to try to make it different, so I'm not getting black and blue anymore.
Okay. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And we're back. So, where do you see yourself going in the pet industry? Where would you like to be in the pet industry?
So I would really like to do creative grooming. That was kind of one of my goals. I also eventually would like to own my own grooming salon, and be more independent in that aspect of it. I've only been to the Groom Expo once. That was last year we went, me and my mother. And I was watching them do their creative grooming. I fell in love with it. I think it is so neat that you can just turn a dog into this crazy thing. And I'd love to do it.
You'll find the creative groomers are a very cool bunch of people. All right. Very friendly, very helpful. And a lot of them have some great programming out there. All right. So
yeah, I'd also like to do some, because I never went to school for this per se. I was taught by a lot of the other groomers at the store that I'm at. So I'd love to do the classes at the Groom Expos. I'd love to do an online course, just get more education. I don't have a lot. Obviously I have the experience with the other groomers, but I haven't gone to an actual schooling yet.
Okay, you know what? And that's fine. That you're learning by apprenticing, which is very valid in a trade. All right. So when I went corporate, they had, and I'll put it they had a school.
Yep.
Okay. And a lot of times that depends on who's teaching. All right. So who's running it. So when I was there and I can't speak once I left because I don't know. All right. But once I was there, I mean, I had some great instructors. And in fact, one of them, we're still really good friends. And we're talking, oh my God, how long I've been in the pet industry? A long time. A really, really, really long time. So we've been friends this whole entire time. But anyway, so schools are great. Schools will get you so far, and then you have to continue your education past that.
Yep.
I mean, I have an online educational platform for groomers, but I will tell you that you need to go to shows. You need to go to a live show. You're fortunate that you have a huge one in Pennsylvania, Groom Expo. So they're going to have massive amounts of education.
Yeah, like I said, the first time we ever went was last year, and I was so overwhelmed with everything that was going on. I mean, and I don't live far from Hershey. It's about an hour and a half drive, so it really wouldn't be much to do a whole weekend there and just get all those classes down. But like I said, it was the first, and I was so overwhelmed with all the stuff that was going on. We actually went, so I got really good scissors because I had cheaper scissors from Amazon, because I didn't know if I was going to be back full time. I didn't know if I was going to get as much as I've been. So I bought cheap left-handed scissors from Amazon. And then once I realized that, yes, I'm going to stay, I'm going to proceed with being a dog groomer, we went to Groom Expo and I got some really nice shears from them.
Good.
Actually, I think the lady that you were talking about, I got 2 from them.
Oh, okay, from Evolution. That's
Yes,
good.
Evolution, yes.
Right, because they have the swivel shears.
Yep, and I have that one. Yep, I have that one, and I bought a Curve.
Good. You know, good quality equipment.
Oh, yes. What a difference. I mean, it was such a difference. You know, I was so excited after I got those. I couldn't wait to go back to work. And I could definitely tell so much of a difference just from the cheap Amazon scissors that I had from these shears.
Oh yeah. Highly recommend getting good quality. I mean, we're
Oh,
professionals.
yes.
We should have good quality because it make our job so much easier. So when I actually retired from grooming and I was like counting up my scissors, all right, and there were a lot of them, okay. My daughter took literally like almost like a box full of scissors, and I still had a ton of scissors. I was like, where did all of these things come from? So I sold everything but my swivel shears.
Yeah, I absolutely love them. And so they don't have left-handed ones, but the right-handed ones work just as well with my left hand.
Okay, I thought Evolution had true lefties.
They did for the curves and everything, but they didn't have them for the swivels.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I just got the right-handed swivels because I really wanted those to save, obviously, my hand. And they said they would work just fine as a left-handed shear, which they do.
Okay, cool. All right, because you know what? You want your body to last. You're young. Okay.
Yep.
You want to be in this industry for a long time. And that only happens if you take care of your body and you use equipment that is meant for longevity. So your goal is to eventually own your own business, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Where do you see that in the timeline?
I'd probably say within the next 5 to 6 years.
Okay, that's good. You know what? I'm a believer in timelines that if you set a goal, set a date to it.
Yep.
Yeah. I was talking for years I was going to retire, and they're like, yeah, I would like to retire by 55 and start teaching full time. And 55 came and went, and I was still working, right? And it wasn't until I set an actual specific date that I was no longer taking appointments past, that I actually retired. So it took me another 2 years after that. And that was only because I set that retirement date. So I'm going to tell you, if you're thinking 5, 6 years, set a date, set a timeline so that you could start looking into what it's going to take to run a business. There's some great business classes being held at trade shows these days.
Right. Yeah, I definitely want to stick with over at Brook Park until I'm more confident. Feet are one of my worst things currently. And I rather mess up at another salon where I'm able to learn and fix mistakes and then be able to blossom into my own groom salon.
Yeah, that there's a term for that. It's called learning on someone else's dime.
Yep.
So yeah, it's really valid. I mean, I know so many groomers who go from school into a business, but they don't have any business experience, nor have they been grooming long enough to make really good business decisions, I think. So it's
Right.
not ideal. And it's not to say I haven't seen anybody succeed. I have seen people succeed doing that, but I think it takes longer. I think, taking the time to learn with somebody else in the real world will go miles towards your being successful faster.
Right.
All right. So have you had any like pushback from anybody about grooming as an amputee?
So when I first went back, I was quite hesitant. I was very scared of people judging before they could see what I could do, especially being the amputee. I do still get quite a bit, especially with newer clients, where I'll walk out of the door and I'll be like, "Hi, I'm here to take care of your dog," and they'd kind of just double look at me and kind of be like, "You're gonna groom my dog?" And I'd always be like, they're fine. And I'd go proceed to do the dog, and then I bring them back, and then they go, "Wow, you really did a good job." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not here to make your dog not look good." I just get a lot of people that don't think a one-handed groomer could groom. And that's definitely not obviously the case. I mean, I haven't met another amputee dog groomer. But I guess I'm the first. I'm sure there's more, but I mean, I've never heard of a one-handed groomer till I decided I was going to do it.
Okay. It's called trailblazing. But it makes a point that, people have handicaps and shouldn't be judged on whether or not they can do their job because they have a handicap. So kudos for you for still following your dream. When you even question whether or not you can do it.
Yeah, like I said, at first I was very like, when we were making appointments, I wanted everybody to be aware that I was an amputee and I didn't want any drama and I didn't want anybody judging me before I got the dog or anything like that. And now currently where I'm at today, I don't even, it doesn't even faze me. Like, I've had people drop their jaws because they're like, "You're gonna groom my dog?" And I'm like, "Yeah, is there a problem?" And they'd be like, no. And I'd proceed to go do their dog, and then when they pick their dog up, they're like, "Wow, you did such an amazing job." And then they, obviously rebook, and it's like, I'm not even, sometimes they'll ask me, they'll be like, "Well, how did you do it? Like, what do you do? How do you even do that?" And I still, I trim dogs' nails all the time. And I have people that go, "Oh, my dog just won't let me do their nails and I have to pin them down." And I'm over here with one hand clipping their dog's nails. And they're like, "How do you do it? You're one hand." And I'm like, I have ways. I don't know how to explain it, but I just, I figure out what works best for that dog, and we get it done.
Yeah. So speaking of dogs' nails, I'm going to say everyone pray for us because I have to cut Cecil's nails today. Cecil's my dachshund mix, and of the 4 dogs, he's the one that really has a problem with his nails. So but they're getting done later today. So
Oh
anyway,
boy. Well, good luck.
yeah. So yeah, good luck. All right. So in the beginning, you said once you realized your hand, all right,
Yep.
it was all mangled up. Your two first thoughts were you were never going to be able to groom again, and your fiance was going to leave you.
Yep.
Okay, so we established that the first thing is not true. You are grooming, so congratulations.
Thank you.
So let's hear about that fiance of yours.
So he obviously is still around. And we actually, so 5 months after my accident, I got pregnant and I have a 1-year-old daughter now too. So
Cool.
yep. So he stayed and I gained a baby.
Okay, good. You know what? It's really important to have a good support system in place.
Oh, and I have the most amazing support system anybody could ever ask for. My fiance is my rock. My mom and dad are my rock. I'm gonna start crying now, but they do everything for me.
All right, so kudos to your fiance and your family. Like I said, not everybody has a really, really good
No,
support system in place.
I'm
And
very blessed for that.
and so shout out to them. Tell me, got my thumbs up. He's an awesome guy. But for people who don't have that support system, how do you think if you didn't have that support system, how do you think that would have affected?
I actually think that would have affected me a lot worse than what I could ever imagine. So when they told me that they took my arm, I wasn't mad. I didn't freak out. I didn't hate myself. I didn't hate the world. I actually, complete opposite. Actually, I was like, okay, challenge accepted. I never had that depressive state that a lot of amputees that I've talked to have had. So I can't, I go to an amputee support group, and I'm basically a spokesperson for them. I'm the upper arm go-to girl, and the gentleman that started it, his name is John. He's a below the knee amputee also, and he helps all the lower. I mean, obviously I help everybody as well, but we both kind of just, as soon as I hear somebody, somebody will tell me that their relation lost their leg or something, and I'll go give them my phone number, let me talk to them. They can't be in that negative state, because that's when you fall into that deep depression, and you can't do that. You gotta take it as what it is. And I'm a big person of things happen for a reason. Obviously, the accident happened. It was sad by all means, but I'm grooming again. I have a daughter. I have a service dog. Life's wonderful. But I definitely, if anybody has any trouble with anything, I find help. There are so many places to get that support.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be family. It doesn't have to be, your significant other. People that have the same outcome as you, they will be your support team.
Yes. Yeah. And for everything that's out there, there is a support group for it. Sometimes it's not a good fit, and then you need to find another one. But the support groups are out there, right? And I say, don't be afraid to ask other people, hey, I'm looking for a support group for this. Can somebody direct me? You'd be surprised how much response you get to that.
Oh, yes.
So if you don't have the support that you need, look for it.
Yep.
Yes,
There's always somebody there to help you.
always somebody. Whatever it is you're going through, you are not the first person to do that.
Nope.
Okay. There's someone else out there who's been through that and can help you. So don't be afraid to ask for help. And if you don't know where to ask for help, put a general request out there and see what lands in your lap.
Life's too short.
Life is way too short, and to not enjoy it fully. Okay. So anyway, you're very inspiring. So
Thank you.
I can't imagine losing one of my hands. Well, I mean, right now I'm not grooming anymore. So if I have one, I could still use my computer.
Right.
But, like I said, you're very inspiring. I hope to see you at the trade shows. I will be at Hershey. So you go to Hershey.
Yeah, and I definitely will be there this year. So I'll have
Good.
to come look for you.
Come find me. Well,
The purple haired girl.
I'd like to say that, yeah, look for the lady with the purple hair, but it's not all that common. I mean, it's very common. Okay. I have a friend who's a teacher in another industry, and she's like, oh yeah, people must find you very easily to ask questions. I'm like, no, you've never been to a grooming trade show, have you? Yeah. So like I have like the little headband here with the amethyst on it. So that might make it a little easier to find me.
Well, if you see me walking around, you stop me.
I will stop you. If I see a one-armed groomer, I will stop.
Odds are it's me.
Well, probably, yeah. But the odds aren't necessarily in your favor just to tap the lady with the purple hair on the shoulder and say, are you married? And I'm like, oh, maybe not.
It depends on who you're asking.
I have a friend with like orangey hair, and I needed to talk to her. So I saw someone with orange hair, and I was following them for like a full 10 minutes before I realized it wasn't her.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Well, when I was there last year, there was quite, oh my goodness, if I could talk, quite a lot of people with the funky hair. And I love it. Cause like I said, I was a cosmetologist before this. So I love the funky hair. I love, it's fun.
It's fun. So like I said, I hope to see you at Groom Expo, and well wishes to you.
Thank you.
See you make a significant mark in the pet industry, because anybody that has any kind of disability really should be a spokesperson.
Honestly, I would love to do that. And going back to the service dogs, I'm a very big advocate with the service dogs. Me and the other John, the other guy from the amputee group, we actually went to a church, and we were talking about the differences and all that stuff, and I took my service dog with me and educated everybody on service dogs, and big advocate for all that stuff. So I'm ready for it. I love talking to people about grooming, amputee, and obviously the service dogs. So
cool. Okay, so then thank you for taking time out of your day here to let me interview you. I appreciate it.
yes, thank you for having me.
Everybody join me next week when I interview another woman making a difference in the pet industry.